welcome to the Making Stories podcast. If you are new here, my name is Claire. I'm the marketing social media manager for Making Stories. And over there in Berlin is my lovely friend and boss,
Hello.
Hannah-Lisa. This is the Making Stories podcast. This is where we tell you all the things behind the scenes of what's going on over here, all the fun things about the magazine. Plus, there's a big focus on sustainability and the topics that we like to put on the blog and all that fun stuff. So, welcome. You are very welcome. We're excited to be here. We're back with another episode. Last time, Hannah-Lisa was doing a special one on her own, and I kind of missed doing it. I was glad to be back recording today, so I'm very excited. And yeah, we've had tons of fun things happen over the month of June. We're recording this on the 1st of July, so we're having a little reflect back of what's been going on. And I know there's a lot of fun things that have been going on over with Hannah-Lisa in Berlin. So yeah, do you want to tell everyone kind of a little recap of the month?
Of course, I'd love to. So a very warm welcome also from me here in Berlin. Super happy to have you here either for the first time or welcome back if you've been watching before. And as Claire said, there were a lot of fun things happening over the month of June. I'm not gonna lie, it was incredibly full and intense as well, but in a really good way. Like, I mean, positive stress instead of negative stress, which I will take over negative stress any day. And it's quite funny because usually, like sort of towards the end of May, beginning of June, we start feeling the summer slump, like it's not as busy. Usually, everything is falling into place for our fall release and stuff, but not this year. No. It's just, I think it feels good. Like, at least for me, it feels good because it feels like finally some of the puzzle pieces that we've been working towards, they're falling into place, and we're releasing things that we've been working on for like months and months, and that's just really nice. So yeah, quick recap. What happened in June? So if you've been following us on Instagram, you might have seen little glimpses of a new space that I got the keys for. Yay!
Yay!
So, we are a remote company. So, Claire is based in Canada. I'm based here in Berlin, Germany. Our wonderful sort of additional team members who we work with on a publication basis, they're all over the world. And so, we've never really had a physical space. But something that we've been wanting to do for a long time is sort of look at doing our own shipping and fulfillment again. We wanted to add new products, which I'm going to talk about in a second, to the shop, and we also just wanted to give the entire packaging experience and unboxing experience a little more love. The reason why we were never able to do that was because we didn't have a physical space. Like, I'm recording this from my studio, which is in my home, and Claire is recording it from her sofa in her home. And we needed a storage space that we could also use to fulfill all of the orders. And a couple months ago, everything just fell into place. I saw a listing for a small office space 10 minutes by foot from where I live, and I went and saw it, and it's perfect. And yeah, I applied and we got the lease, and then on June 15th we got the keys and then started moving in, which was such a surreal experience. But it's also, I've been over there almost every day like the past 2 weeks, just either managing the move or starting to pack up orders, getting deliveries, and it's just felt so natural. And that's always when I know something was a really good decision for us at Making Stories. Like, it feels so nice. And so that was the first exciting thing that happened in June, that we were moving into our own premises. We have all of the magazines there, all the back issues, we have all of the yarns there, and yeah, we are not opening a brick and mortar shop, so it's purely storage and then shipping for the online store. But if you are based in Berlin, or if you're traveling and you want to see some of the yarns or magazines in person, just drop us an email, and we'll let you know when I'm there, and then we can schedule a little meet up thing.
Oh, that would be so fun. I wish I was closer. I'd be there.
Me
Well,
too.
I would be there every day because I work for you. I was like, I'd be there every day.
Yeah.
Probably should be.
Love it.
It's my job.
One day. Hopefully next year we'll be over here.
Yeah. Fingers
So
crossed.
that was the first thing that happened. And then the second thing happened about a week after that, which was the launch of our yarn pop-up. So by the time that you're watching this, the pop-up will have closed. We open it from June 22nd to July 4th. And it was a pop-up for 5 yarn companies who are all doing amazing work in the sustainable production of yarn. And adding yarns was something that we've been wanting to do for a long, long time. And it's also been the number one thing that people have asked from us in our annual customer survey. And so we decided we were going to do a short pop-up just to gain some experience, because we've never sold yarn. And as we now learned, it is super fun, and it's also very different from selling magazines. And so the pop-up shop was just for us to get our feet, well, not really get our feet on the ground just yet, but like dip our toes into the waters of selling yarns, and then understand also how we needed to set up our processes and what kind of packaging we needed, which colors people loved, which yarns people loved. And it was, I loved it so much. Like every time that I got to pick orders and pack them up, I was just like, oh my God, this is so good. This is so good. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's really like, it just makes me so, so happy, because I love good yarns, and we are working with so many amazing yarn partners, and just, seeing that this resonates with all of you, it just made me incredibly happy. So, yeah. And like, I mean, getting to squish beautiful yarns never hurts, right?
Oh, it looks so much fun. Every time you package an order and you put things on stories, it's like, oh, I don't know how you've done it so swiftly either, because I get so distracted if I've got all the yarn coming across, because then even when because you wrote a fantastic blog post doing like a yarn wish list, which I'll link to the bottom, when I went onto that blog post just to share it on Instagram, I then went down a whole, like, I lost like a half hour of work. So I was like, oh, that pattern's really nice that Hannah-Lisa suggested. And so if I'm only doing that from a blog post, if I had the actual yarn in front of me, I'd just be like Googling all the yarn patterns to see what I want to knit with it. So
yeah, I wouldn't blame you, because there are, like, it was also one of the really cool things was, for me, basically the entire process of selecting the yarns, and then also selecting the colors for the yarns, and then I did a lot of work around figuring out which patterns would work well, both from our own publications, but then also from indie designers, and just put that all together in a way that I thought would sort of make it easy for everyone to envision which kind of projects would work well with the yarn. And I did all of that in the website, and then in a special email sequence. It was so much fun. Like, I really loved it. And I'm super happy because we get to do that again.
yay!
So that's kind of like a sneaky announcement kind of thing already. So, I mean, as I said earlier on, the pop-up shop was really for us to sort of see whether this would be something that you, our wonderful flock of customers, would like to purchase yarn from us. And it was a resounding yes. Like, it was so nice seeing how people love the idea of being able to purchase sustainable yarns from one source. It was also meant for us to sort of see what kind of systems do we need to have in place. And so, the pop-up shop is now over. We will start selling yarns for, like on a continuous basis starting in the fall. So around the launch of issue 6, we'll have yarns for the patterns from issue 6 in the shop, and then lots of other beautiful yarns. And then we'll just add to the shop selection bit by bit, because we want to sort of help you make really good and conscious purchasing decisions. And I think the way that we can help with doing that is that when you shop with us, you know that everything that you can get through us has been sourced from sustainable productions and from ethical companies. And so that's something that's coming in the fall.
I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, me too.
That's been like a dream for quite a while, and it's been so much fun. I mean, the pop-up yarn shop's 100% been your baby from start to finish, and it's been so fun kind of like chatting with you about the idea to begin with, and then seeing it happen, and then to get to this point where we're actually doing it, because it felt like we were talking about it for ages, and then suddenly the pop-up shop was here, and it was just so exciting seeing them all, and the gorgeous photos that we had done by Melinda. And it's just been so nice.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it, and I can't wait for the fall. It's gonna be so good. Just you wait and see what we have for you. Speaking of the fall and what we have for you, the third and basically the last thing that I want to chat about when it comes to June was that the third exciting thing that happened was that about a week ago, no, not a week ago. When did that get here? On Monday. I'm like completely...
It was Monday.
Yeah, so 3 days ago. I'm like, where is my brain? Not a week ago.
It's been a busy week.
3 days ago, we got our delivery for issue 6. And you might have seen this revealed on Instagram.
Look at that. Oh, it looks so good. I can't wait to see it in real life.
Yeah, your copies are on their way. So,
yes.
This is issue 6. It's not available for the public yet. It's going to be released on September 1st. Why I'm showing this is because we opened stockist pre-orders on July 1st. So if you are a stockist watching this, you can now get this in our wholesale web shop. If you usually get your Making Stories magazine copy through your local yarn shop, inquire with them whether they have already opened pre-orders, which quite a few of them do as soon as they can get the copies. And if you want to get it through us, you can subscribe. Like, you can get an annual subscription starting with this issue, and then it's gonna be on your doorstep on release day. So yeah, we're not gonna dive into this today. This is for another time, but I thought I would just share this. I love it.
It looks so good, and we went back and forth about the front cover so many times because we had so many lovely photos to pick from, but I think that one works really well. It looks so good.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's it's like, for me, so the theme of issue 6 is skyward, and it's really about sort of looking up, and for me, looking up is something that I do when I feel stressed and bogged down. And so, you know, when I go outside and I just remember to take a look at the sky, it always reminds me that there's more to it than my workload or whatever I have going on in my life. And it just takes me to sort of what I think Susie also has going on in this picture, is like this just send out space, you know? Like, this, it's actually quite funny because this is not like it's not like a modeled pose. Like, this was her enjoying the sun on the day of the shoot, happening to her, like, that pullover, and it's just, I love it.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, so that was basically my June, but you also had something really exciting going on in June, which has been going on behind the scenes for a long time.
Months and months, it feels like. I think it's been for about the past 6 months I worked out. If you may have seen this already, we're kind of doing a very slow release of something new, but we've just released a completely accessible version of issue 5. It's called Easy Read issue 5. We've been working closely with a fantastic accessibility expert, Renee Van Hoy, who's absolutely wonderful. It's been so much fun working with her. And Annalisa, this was one of the things that you wanted to do like months and months ago. You were like, let's do an accessible version of issue 5. And we got Renee on board and we both sat down and did Renee's fantastic workshop, with a view to then Hannah-Lisa and I, between us, making this accessible version of issue 5, which honestly is was a little bit, we were reaching a bit. This, just to put this into context, no one's ever done this before. So as far as we know, there's never been an accessible version of an entire magazine. It was a mammoth task, and what ended up happening is that I took it over with Renee, and Renee and I worked together over the past few months to get this accessible version ready. Obviously with Renee at the helm and me kind of her little sous chef. After doing her workshop, I'd do some of the formatting and I'd send it over to her. And yeah, we've been working really hard on this this new format for issue 5. And you're probably wondering exactly what that means. So I'm just going to run through really briefly. Basically, all the usual formatting from the magazine is gone. So all the photos are in there, all the patterns are in there, and all the editorial content. Everything that exists in issue 5 is in this new version. But it's completely different font. It's a different type. It's black ink on white background to make sure everything is super clear. It's an enlarged font. And it also works with screen readers. So it's been tested with all the major screen readers to go through. In order to make it work that way, all the charts have been taken out. So all the written instructions are then integrated into the patterns. So that means that Renee and I have kind of sat together and, well, she's in California, so not together, but via email and Zoom. And we've reworked the patterns. So we take all the written instructions and put it in so you can follow each pattern line by line, and you're not referring to any charts or anything like that, and you can just follow the pattern all the way through. This means for our non-sighted crafters that you can listen to these patterns and be able to knit straight from the screen reader. All the abbreviations have been left to minimal, so when the screen reader reads them, they're reading full words, nothing's confusing, and we're super excited about it. It also works for our partial sighted crafters as well, because everything is completely formatted with like bold font and much more enlarged, and we're really excited. All the images have alt text in them, and yeah, this is a whole big, it was such a mammoth task. It was kind of, I don't think either Hannah-Lisa or I realised when we did the workshop first, we were like, well, this should be doable. We're just kind of like going through and changing abbreviations and it's like a whole other beast to be honest. And it's been such a learning curve, but it's also been really fun. It's been fantastic working with Renee and learning this new skill, and it's just been really fascinating. But this is something that you and I have never kind of done before, is it? And yeah, we released it. I mean, it's Thursday today. We released it yesterday, so right at the end of June. So this is available now. This is something we've never done before, so we would love it if you could help us get the word out about it a little bit, because it'd be really nice not only for people to have access to this new version of the magazine, but also to get accessibility into the conversation even more, to see that there's those patterns available, and that maybe it's things other designers will also consider and other publications, because it'd be lovely to get more accessible patterns out into the world, just so people have more options. And yeah.
Totally. And I think it's also, I have so much respect for you and Renee, because you're completely right. Like, we both knew this was something that we wanted to do, but we had no idea what this would entail. Like, no idea at all. And I think, I mean, without Renee, this would have never been possible, but also not without the hours and hours and hours of work that you put in. it's a huge, huge, huge thank you from me to you also, because this is something that, like,
Oh, quick.
I love that we're now able to offer this, because I think it's a group, partially sighted and non-sighted crafters, that is very often overlooked. And we're just super happy to be able to have something that hopefully they will enjoy and that will be useful for them. So talk to me about where people can get it, because that's also something that you and Renee worked out, because depending on whether you're using screen readers, which kind of devices you're using, our normal website is not the ideal place for people to find this accessible, easy read version. So you've also set up a way that people can get it that is accessible, right?
Yes, exactly. So you can get this version directly from our web shop as usual. If our website, as it is right now, our usual shop, if that's not accessible to you, I have set up another. I had to go in and do a whole other shop on our website that's hidden, but I'll be sharing the link to it, and then reformat. I've been learning all about code and header injections. It's been a whole thing. And so I've set up another listing. So if our website's not accessible to you normally, there is another link that I'm going to be sharing below as well, which will link to a page that Renee checked it out and I got the seal of approval from her, which should be accessible to you to be able to purchase it. If you're watching this and you're still having problem with that link, just send us an email as well, because we'd be more than happy to do this any other way to get that version to you if you're having any problems at all. But those two links, either to the regular web shop or the new web shop that I set up with the accessible formatting on, should work fine. And another note to say about the accessible version is when you download it, as I said, we take out all the charts and we put all the written instructions in, and it's also got much larger text, which means we end up with a very long document. If you think, we have fairly long patterns to begin with in our magazine. So by the time we did this, what initially was going to be one PDF of, like you would with the regular digital version, it was getting longer and longer and longer. So what Renee had a genius idea of doing was to split this version up into separate documents. So when you download the easy read version, what you will see is you'll get a folder with a bunch of files in there. So there'll be one main PDF, which will basically be the magazine, but with all the patterns taken out. So it'll have all our editorial content, the letter from the editor, all the introductions to the patterns, all the images and everything, and our lovely articles and the artwork. But then each pattern's in its own folder separately. And what we wanted to do, and especially if you're working from a screen reader, or if you like to print it out, if you are partially sighted and you want to print out a pattern and then follow it with the enlarged text, we've put them all into individual folders, so you can just work purely from that one pattern, so you're not going back and forth, because originally we were going to add anchors to it so you could click and go back to a certain point if you needed to and come back, and I thought by the end of it you're going to be back and forth on this mammoth thing. So yeah, that is one thing to mention. So if you're downloading, like, what are all these files doing? That's why we wanted to make it hopefully as user-friendly as possible. And as I mentioned before, this is the first time we're doing this. So if you do use the easy read version and there's any feedback you have for us, please do let us know, because as we speak, Renee is already working on issue 6. So we'd love to get this right. We've done it and we're doing it because we want it to be usable for people. So please let us know what you think about it if you use it. And if there's any changes that you would suggest that we do, because then we can implement them into issue 6. And yeah, so those are the two places you can get it from at the moment. We are working on putting it into Ravelry, just so there's the options there too. But obviously Ravelry is not accessible for everyone, so we wanted to make sure that there were plenty places to be able to purchase this from. So at the time of posting this, it could be up on Ravelry. We're working on that at the moment, and if it is, I will add a little edit at the bottom and a link to there as well, if that's where you prefer to look at it. But yeah, those are the two links, and I'll clearly label the accessible one below so you can use that one.
Yay! Wonderful. Yay. And again, sort of the ask to spread the word. If you yes. Like if you go and I don't know, if you attend any other virtual knit nights, or if you go to your local yarn shop, if you know any partially or non-sided crafters, just let them know that this is something that we offer now. Yeah. Yay.
Yes. Yay. So yeah, that was the accessible version, and it's kind of crazy to think that it's out of the world, because I feel like I've been working on it. It's been like this thing on my workload for so long, and now it's out in the world. Obviously, now we're doing issue 6. So
like at the beginning of the year, in January.
Yeah.
It's been a good half year. Yep.
Jeez. Oh, so needless to say, I haven't had a ton of personal knitting time. So unfortunately, we're getting towards the end of the podcast, and I'm like, once again, I don't have anything personal knitting to show anyone, but I know that you have got a few things that you have to show, some woolly goodness. So why don't we finish off the podcast with a little show and tell?
Of course, always happy to. So, I think I mentioned this in one of my last podcast episodes. I have lots of friends who are expecting, and so I've been just doing tons of gift knitting, really, baby knitting, which is something that I really enjoy. And it was also super fun now with the pop-up shop happening, because I could try some of the yarns and like smaller projects, and that was really, really fun. And so the first one that I want to share, it's almost finished, it still needs a button, is this tiny cardigan.
Oh, it's so sweet.
So this is a newborn size harvest cardigan by Tin Can Knits, and it's knit in Oysters and Pearls Corriedale Sport in the color of pomegranates colorway.
Oh, that color.
Isn't it?
I love that color.
It's super pretty. I love it. And it's also a really nice yarn, because it has, I think it's going to be really really good for kid, because it will not pill a lot, and it's quite soft but also durable, and so I really like that, and I really also enjoyed. Sweet. I've been wanting to knit a harvest cardigan for a long time, but I all of the pattern pictures that I saw on Ravelry are for larger sizes, so I really wasn't sure how the newborn size would turn out, and I think it's the cutest thing on earth. And I really enjoyed
so cute.
the way that it's done, because you you knit the collar first, and then you pick up stitches, and then work your way down the raglan increases, and then down the body. And I really like the sort of contrast of the garter stitch shawl collar, and then you have the garter here at the hem and at the cuffs, and it's something that I really, really like, and I think that is so pretty in any yarn, really, but this one particular.
Yeah.
So yeah, gives you the option to add.
I love that deep hem.
Yeah, me too. I think it would also look great. Like, I think it would be a super wearable cardigan for an adult as well. And so I was trying to hold it close, but it's not. So I know from my own experience that it's always nice to have a cardigan, because it's just something that you can throw on your baby. Is that something that you can say? Like, throw on your... No.
Throw it on the...
Do not throw the cardigan on the baby, please. You can dress them in the cardigan, and then when it's too warm, you can just take it off, you know. So Harvest Cardigan by Tin Can Knits. It's a free pattern downloadable through their website. Highly recommend it. Super fun knit. Works great, I think, in any yarn really. This is the Oysters and Pearls Corriedale Sport in the color of pomegranates. And I love it.
Oh, it's
Super cute.
gorgeous. I love it.
So that was the one thing. And then the other thing, and this is one of my go-to patterns that I knit for like smaller baby gifts. So you will have seen a previous version
They're
of
so
this.
cute.
I made another pair of suspension bridge booties by Mary Jane Thompson.
They're so
Really
sweet.
cute. They're super cute. So, sorry, it's like long ends because I still have to
seam them.
But yeah, those are the booties. So
Oh, I love them. I really
they
need
cute?
to knit those.
they are super cute, and I love the construction of them because you start down here and you knit garter and then just increase a bit. And then you work the top of the foot in short rows in stockinette stitch, then resume working working flat over the entire row, and you do these cute little eyelets, and then it's just more garter. And it was super fun because a month ago at our last Making Stories knit night, someone was asking me how long it would take me to knit one of those, and I actually managed to cast on and then finish it over the course of the knit night. So I know that one of these takes me about 1.5 hours, so 3 hours in total. So yeah,
That's awesome.
these are knit in Garthenor organic beacons, which is a super beautiful yarn, and the colorway is called Gorse. So it's a DK weight, all sustainably sourced, that we had in the pop-up shop, and we will for sure bring that back because it's super nice.
I love that yarn.
And what is a bit fun is, so they're not completely finished yet. They still need their Icords, and because I've made quite a bunch of them now, and the one thing that I always hate is doing the Icord at the end. So I asked our neighbors whether they have. I don't actually know what the name of this is in English. In German, it's called a Strickliesel.
Oh, what do we call it? I can't even remember now. Something dolly or something, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
So it's basically a device for doing an Icord. Like, I haven't done a lot, but like the Icord will come out here. And it's super nice. Like, it's just so, like, it's a lot faster than just knitting the Icord, and it's something that you can do while you're watching TV or something. So
That's so fun. I've not seen those in ages. They used to be like, I think when you were a kid, you always used to get those to play with.
Totally. And then, you know, it's like just a gimmick thing. Like, what are you going to do with all of those Icords? But I was really like, by the time that I had worked through my, I think, third or fourth pair of the suspension, which was just like, I don't want to knit any more Icords. So yeah, I borrowed that one from our neighbors, but I'm gonna see if I can get my own, so that I'm well prepared for the next pair of suspension bridge booties.
Nice.
Yeah, so that is sort of the personal knitting that I have. I'm about to cast on another baby sweater as a gift knit, so I can share that when we see each other the next time, hopefully. But yeah, also not a ton of knitting time, really. Like with you, it's been an intense month.
Yeah. Hopefully by the time we come back next time. Although I thought this after, because you recorded on your own last time, and I was like, it's probably a good thing I have literally nothing to show people. I will by the next time. And then it's just been the same. So yeah, hopefully by the next one. I actually do have one project that I finished, but I've not blocked. Which I started ages ago. So hopefully I'll be able to show people that one next time.
Cool. So speaking of next time, we'll be back here in 2 weeks from now with another podcast episode, glimpses behind the scenes, and also what's on our needles. Do let us know what is on your needles down below. Like, we both love knitting so much, and I think we always, as you said, fall down a rabbit hole when it comes to learning about patterns and yarns. And so let us know what you love right now. What is a favorite pattern of yours that you maybe have on the needles right now, or recent yarn discovery? we always love hearing about those things.
We do. And don't forget, if you know someone who you think would enjoy this podcast, please do send it to them. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit subscribe so you know when we have a video out. And yeah, and like this video if you've enjoyed it. And hopefully we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Until then, take care and stay safe. See you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye, loves.
Bye.